Welcome to Technado with Don Pizzette, featuring sysadmin expert Don Pizzette, security specialist Daniel Lowry, and Peter.
Hello and welcome to Technado with Don Pizzette. I'm your host, Peter Van Rysdam, and today I actually don't have a Don Pizzette, but instead of a Don, I have a Dan and a Ron. So we'll go with that. So Daniel, how you doing today?
That's none of your business, thank you.
Fair enough. Always the security expert. See, you got to learn your phishing,
good ops,
social engineering tactics
That's
from
right.
Daniel.
Nice
Work. And that is Mr. Ronnie Wong. Ronnie, how's it going?
It's going great. Again, pleasure to be here. Thank you.
We're glad to have you back.
Yeah.
And we are joined today by our special guest, who is Chuck Everette. He's the Director of Cybersecurity Advocacy at Deep Instinct. Chuck, how you doing today?
Doing great, thank you.
And it looks like you're joining us from like the war room at the Pentagon, or is that your kind of your own personal SOC there you got?
It's basically the case. Yeah, I've been in cybersecurity for so many years. I've acquired, my own labs, that type of stuff. So I like being, my home system is my home lab and SOC center.
How many monitors are would you say are in that room or hooked up?
I'll admit to 17, but not in front of my wife.
Whoa! I didn't think that number would go over
like a
like
Best
8.
Buy inside of his.
Yeah,
I'm playing Galago there.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
The problem is 16 of those are CRTs.
Yeah.
So
No CRTs. No.
nothing under like 22 inches. Everything's massive.
No. I had to put in special air conditioning just for the room for this in my server room. So
I want to come over and like watch football in your room if you can get different things on all the different.
Man, they're going to get you over that carbon footprint thing here.
yeah, that's
Yeah, they're going to be doing the thermal scans. Like, this guy's mining Bitcoin.
Like, whoa, this guy's got either a grow house or.
exactly. Wisconsin grow houses are common, so unfortunately, it's
So hard to spot.
The agents are out there now going, yep.
It's the one spot where the snow is melted on the ground. All right, well, Chuck, we want to get to know a little bit more about you, not just about your amazing setup there, but about the company you work for and your experience in our first segment, which is rapid fire questions.
Who do you work for?
What's new?
Who are you?
What's happening?
What's wrong with you?
All right, so Chuck, we're going to put 5 minutes on the clock, and we're going to go down a series of questions rapidly, thus the name of the segment. And if you go a little bit too long in any of those, I will buzz you. But probably not, because I'm worried that you can track me from your spaceship there. So we will just get started. So first of all, can you give us just kind of an overview of Deep Instinct, what the company is all about?
Absolutely. Deep Instinct is the first company to utilize deep learning and apply it directly to cybersecurity, creating a neural net network to detect and predict the newest and latest zero-day threats. We currently have a track record since January. I've personally been tracking all the major threats that are out there coming out from ransomware that have hit major corporations, businesses. We would have prevented those with a brain of ours or an algorithm that's over 6 months old. So industry first. I've been in cybersecurity for 25 years. I'm here because this technology is a game changer.
What does your day-to-day look like as being the Director of Cybersecurity Advocacy?
Basically, I'm company spokesman, company advocacy, evangelist, multiple different terms. But basically, I'm, my day-to-day is, I get up in the morning, I read my news articles, I look at, posts that are going on, looked at, security alerts, keep up. My big thing is keeping my finger on the pulse of cybersecurity across all vectors of IT. And then, of course, it's a lot of times I'm on the road. I'm on the road probably 3 to 4 days a week at speaking events, talking with clients, with other stuff. I do a lot of vendor agnostic stuff of, I'm that trusted advisor because I've been doing this for so long. I don't, pull punches, and I talk directly to, what are the threats and what do you need to do with that? And I'll go in and kind of do a threat assessments and help, CISOs and CIOs on that.
Well, that sounds like a fun day. You're not busy at all, of
It's all
course.
one day.
No.
Now, you say Deep Instinct is the first to use deep learning, and I will say I've definitely heard of plenty of platforms that offer up an ML or an AI type of security solution. Tell us exactly, why is that chump change, and this is the new hotness, the difference between those types of systems with comparison to deep learning?
Absolutely. Just at a very high level, everybody uses the term, they're hyper utilizing the term AI. And artificial intelligence is kind of the big umbrella. In the smaller realm there, you have machine learning. Machine learning is kind of like a flow chart. Think of it as kind of, you have your directives and you have your flow. And if this happens, you do this.
It's a bunch of if
That's all
statements.
driven by manual computation. People have to put that data inside, and it takes weeks to get new models out there. Deep learning literally mimics the human brains. It actually creates neurons in a sense and interconnections between things, and it's able to make decisions unsupervised without pre-labeled definitions. So building, and you have to build that. So there's a lot of deep learning applications out there, like Tesla uses it for self-driving. There's image recognition, language recognition, but you can't take that and apply that to every field. You have to custom build it. And this is where we actually built the 6th recognized framework in the world globally for deep learning and applied it to cybersecurity.
That's very cool. And so when you say it's like the human brain, you mean it only uses 10% of its efficiency, 9% wasted computing. All right. So are you worried that at some point your product will rise up like Skynet and determine that the only way to keep us safe is to not let us see any of the information we're supposed to get?
Yeah, well, put it this way: the human factor is always the weakest link out there, and eventually, I'm sure 100 years down the road, something will rise up. But we're not worried about that right now.
It's got to be a kill switch, though. I assume.
Yeah.
All right. So
I'll say adversarial AI is definitely something that the cyber criminals are using, and that's definitely a threat that we're looking at today.
Interesting. Well, that might lead into my next question. So I was going to ask, as someone that looks at this stuff on a day-to-day basis, and you've been in the cybersecurity field for quite some time now, what is the threat that keeps you up at night now?
It's exactly that. It's adversarial AI. It's these, before it was nation states utilizing machine learning to figure out ways around defenses and figure that way around to be able to make themselves look like what they're doing is benign, lay of the land type stuff. We're seeing that more and more is trickling down to the common criminal gangs now. They're starting to utilize that to go in. They're actually having adaptive scripts to go out and look, okay, what are you running in your security stack? What are you running in your filter drivers? Okay, what do I need to bypass your security to get in as deep as possible before I'm detected? And that is, unfortunately, a game changer.
Yeah, that's terrifying. I think I got nothing to say that. I see why.
So we just get to sit back and get the like the thriller meme where we got the popcorn and watch these adversarial AIs and things like Deep Instinct go at it toe to toe.
It's cat and mouse, and it's just a matter of staying in front of it. That's for Deep Instinct. We're trying to stay in front of that cat and mouse game. As I said, we're predicting things. I'm testing stuff on brains that are 6 to 9 months old for 0-day stuff coming out now, and so luckily we have that with that head start.
Yeah.
So how old is the company? I mean, I know you said you're like kind of 6 to 9 months into the brain, kind of developing and building new information. But how long have you guys been around?
They've been running for I think July was 5 years, I believe. So,
gotcha. So you would kind of just release the product though 6 to 9 months ago when you can actually
that's our latest brain. One really cool thing about Deep Instinct is we only release an update. We don't release daily updates like legacy AV solutions out there. We release an update to our brain or our algorithm once to 3 times a year at most. So typically our customers go 3 months without an update to the product, and we're detecting and preventing because we train on hundreds of millions of samples and data sets. We're mining the dark web, getting this stuff out there, making sure that our product, and we're constantly testing to making sure that our efficacy rate is staying as high as it is.
Very cool.
Nice.
And I was paying attention, but I'm now wondering also, is that fish tank behind you just another monitor or an actual fish?
No, that's a real fish tank.
Okay. It's a tropical tank, though, because of the warmth in the room.
He's got Billy Bass
Exactly,
in there.
yeah. I don't need to have a heater in there.
Yeah, that's true.
That and my talking all the hot air. So.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. That'll do it. All right. Well, we want to move on to our next segment and pick your brain a little bit about our cybersecurity topic. So let's move on now to science and tech news.
Stay tuned for science and technology. And now, back to the anchor desk.
All right, so this one comes to us from scmagazine.com, and this is actually something, Chuck, that you wrote, so hopefully you will know quite a bit about it. So the article that we're referencing here is no surprise here, cyber criminals own a treasure trove of PII, so your personally identifiable information. So I'm curious. I was curious, kind of reading through this a little bit and wondering. I know advertisers, for example, they will go out and they'll kind of put together these profiles about you and all the places that you've been and all the things that they learned. But they're able to bring all those things together. Are cyber criminals kind of doing that as well, where they're taking this from this breach and this from this breach and able to tie those together and say this is the same person, and now I know all this more information about them?
Absolutely. A lot of the, going back to the credit card breaches at Target and Home Depot, those are continuous. But taking like the Experian breach that just came out recently, where you can find out that you could actually get anybody's FICO score, anybody's score. You can combine that with that other information. You can all of a sudden find out, you know what, this person has such a high score, and they got this credit card, and possibly it's a platinum credit card, or it's a high dollar limit. Therefore, it's worth more money. So they're actually applying that, or they're actually taking medical records from like the cruise line breaches and some of the credit stuff. They're utilizing that to craft really well written ransomware notes now to try and get you to click on a link on your corporate, not even your personal, to get into your organization or your company. So they're using that for spear phishing in a sense.
Yeah, I think the fallacy maybe a lot of people have, probably the layman is well, they didn't get my credit card number, they didn't get my social security number, so what do I care if they know my birthday? What do I care if they know that information? But you're saying that stuff can still be used against you in a different way.
They can get it from multiple sources, and so there's the data brokers out there that are pulling these multiples together. You buy 2 different databases, you get one piece of the puzzle, but by buying 2 or 3 databases, you now have the complete piece, and you can literally take over that person's identity seamlessly.
Chuck, what can we do to better help people understand that it's not just, what do I care if someone gets my medical information? That's not a big deal. Like that mindset. How do we change people fundamentally to understand that we must be more protective and more privacy focused when it comes to our PII and our PHI?
And that's the problem. I think the problem is that with all the media, announcements around these breaches, stuff's out there. People have just gotten resigned. You know what? My information's out there, and that's exactly what I wrote around. It's every time you put something into online, it has a potential of being breached. It's going to be exposed, or they're going to share it. They're going to sell it, because that's a lot of times the fine print there too. And a lot of times it isn't the primary one that were the breaches. It's one of the third parties they've sold your information to. And that's where it gets breached. And those, a lot of times we don't even hear about those data brokerages on the backside. And that's, marketers pay a lot of money for that. Cyber criminals love it because they've already done all the homework for them, pulled it all together. So it's getting those guys, be vigilant. I mean, you got to watch your credit reports, your utility bills, look for that type of stuff, realizing that somebody could take over your identity and absolutely ruin your life. I mean, it takes years to recover from an identity theft. And you always think, it wouldn't happen to me, but it's happening to millions of Americans monthly. And
I was going to say, is our, not our organization, but I guess our governments and our local magistrates doing anything to help us if that does happen? Because like you say, it can be really difficult to kind of walk that back. If you have somebody who's gone through identity theft, they can tell you it is a nightmare to get that stuff proven that it wasn't you that made those purchases or ran up that credit, and to try to get their lives back. Are there processes being put into place right now that are helping people with that? Any kind of advocacy groups?
I don't think if anything's majorly been done recently, because ransomware and other things, and that's definitely with our local administration is definitely taking that charge there. Identity stuff's still there, but it's happening kind of in the background. So I'm not aware of. Doesn't mean they're not happening, but it's almost like old news at this point. Everybody's just going to resign. It's going to happen, but just, realizing how much, it's out there. I mean, look at people with medical records being taken, and then also combining that with be able to hack your pacemaker that's connected, internet of things that's connected out there, utilizing that, know that you're a victim. And then all of a sudden, hey, you get a ransomware note saying, hey, I'm going to turn your pacemaker off in an hour unless you transfer X amount of dollars. Those type of things are theoretically possible of happening right now.
Yeah, it probably won't be long before they mandate that we have cyber insurance, just like car insurance and homeowners insurance.
Well, but the problem is with cyber insurance right now, it's going through. There's 3 cases going through litigation right now where the cyber insurance are denying claims if it can be traced back to a country that harbors cyber criminals like Russia. That then has become state sponsored, which is a act of war. It's not covered.
Yeah.
So cyber insurance right now is starting to be, losing its value.
That's interesting. I had not thought about
Yeah.
that. So, I mean, would you recommend using one of those services? I know there are those companies out there that will kind of watch your information and help you get it back, in the case of something going wrong. Or do you think that kind of people can do that themselves by kind of keeping an eye on FICO scores and things like that?
Well, and that's the thing, is it really depends on the individual personal. Those organizations, some of them are they're doing things that you can do for free by contacting the 3 major credit scores. They are more convenient, and some people it's a lot easier, especially for elderly or those that are just not internet adept. Other ones, like myself, I look at my scores. I keep it out there. I use free services that are dependable and I can count on, but knowing full well that I'm putting my information there, if they got breached, it'd be the same type of thing, just like Experian. So it's another risk, but at the same time, definitely do your due diligence. Use one of those services if you need to, or look at it on a regular basis. I actually get alerts. I got an alert this morning that, hey, somebody had pulled my credit report. I'm like, okay, let me see who that is and what's going on here. I wasn't aware of anything was going on here.
See, that's why I'm proactive and I'm going to beat the hackers to the punch, and I'm selling my own data.
Yeah. At least you're going to make some return on it, right?
Yeah.
Or lock your accounts, guys. It's free. Most of them you can go up and you can lock your accounts. That's if you're going to be proactive, you're not buying a car or a house, credit card, like that. Lock your accounts.
Makes
I like
total
it.
sense.
Yep.
All right. Well, want to let some people know about how they can find out more about Deep Impact. I knew
I
was
know
gonna
it's the
say
movie.
Deep Impact.
Every time
It's like
it
Deep
gets
Impact
me.
meets
Which was an awesome flick. So
Basic Instinct.
I still like it. So
Yeah,
I
it's just like
correlate
a-
that in my mind.
yeah. It's just like a Sharon Stone
Elijah
crossover with Ben Affleck and.
End of the world.
Deep Impact was that was Armageddon. You're thinking of?
Oh, I'm thinking of
Deep
Armageddon.
Impact is with Elijah Wood.
You're right. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Terror
The mole
something.
miner.
Taya Leone.
Taya Leone. Thank you.
Hey.
The big wave at the end. Not to
Yep.
give it away.
Spoiler alert.
Too late. Yeah, spoiler alert on this 20-year-old movie. All right. So if people want to find out about the website for Deep Instinct, where can they go for that?
Deepinstinct.com.
And you said it's all new, brand new?
The website, we just went through a rebranding effort. So it's new look, new feel. Incredible information out there about our product and our services, what we can do and how we can prevent and protect, systems regardless of, where the attack vectors come from.
Very cool. And product-wise, I know we can't really quite say it yet, but something on the horizon that we want to look out for, right?
There's some great media coming out next week. We'll have some a great announcement. Definitely coming out next week. As I said, unfortunately, I can't even tell you guys about it. So.
But we'll go to the website
Yeah.
and we will hit refresh all next week until
go.
that comes
Yep.
out.
All
Check out
points
the
below.
Twitter.
Definitely some exciting stuff coming out.
Bolo.
They're announcing that Skynet is it's taking over. I knew it.
It's going to kill its first person on TV.
Wow, that's going to be dark.
I go dark.
All right, well, Chuck, we want to thank you so much for taking the time with us today. I know you're very busy out on the speaking circuit, and just describing a day in your life. Taking these 10, 15 minutes here was really helpful, so I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I love educating people and talking cyber. So anytime, guys.
All right, sounds good. Well, we will definitely have you back on that in the future. And we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the news from this week. So stay tuned here on Technado with Don Pizzette.
Do you know what's better than being an IT Pro TV member? Being a member for free. Hi, I'm Don Pizzette, co-founder and edutainer here at IT Pro TV. Once you sign up for an IT Pro TV personal membership subscription, you'll automatically be part of our referral program. Then all you have to do is share your personal referral link and code with your friends and colleagues. Every time one signs up, you get money off your subscription. Sign up enough and your membership is free. That's right, access to all your favorite IT training, totally free. Kind of feels like stealing, doesn't it? Check out the link below to learn how to get your code and start sharing today.
All right, welcome back to Technado with Don Pizzette. Thank you so much to Chuck for joining us. That was some insightful yet terrifying
Terrifying.
information. Yeah,
Chopping Mall.
it's coming. It's coming for us. What was the original name of that movie?
Killbots.
Killbots.
Yeah.
I got to check that out.
1986, I think.
I think we were talking about that in the break offline. But
you guys didn't hear that part.
Great movie, basically about what Chuck was describing.
Great movie.
Great.
Is that what
Great
you
is
said?
a stretch.
Great.
I haven't seen it, so take that for what it's worth. I'll be the movie critic that
there you
reviews
go.
movies based on descriptions.
I haven't
that Daniel
actually
gives me.
watched it, but
I
from
give
what
it
I
two
hear,
thumbs up.
Yeah.
This Goonies sounds interesting. All right, let's take a look at the news. Last week was all cybersecurity news. Today we've actually got some non-cybersecurity related news.
Well, I'm out.
Yeah. Daniel has no input. This one comes to us from foxbusiness.com. Facebook unveils new name as company dives deep into the metaverse. So Facebook as a product will remain as Facebook, but the overall company is now Meta, which is kind of similar to the whole Google becoming Alphabet thing, which no one says Alphabet ever. So, but it sounds like they are going to really try to dive into this virtual reality. I mean, they own Oculus, right?
Do they?
Don't they own?
I know that they have some sort of
Google,
like
or
VR
partnership?
thing coming up soon that they're working on in the future, but I'm not
Yeah, I don't
familiar.
know.
Here's the thing about Facebook: they're the devil. So
Oculus is owned by Facebook.
Yeah, I do not
okay.
like participate in anything Zuckerberg owned.
Well, you do. You just don't know it.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't. I do know, and I don't.
You're not on the WhatsApp,
Nope.
the Instagrams,
Nope.
Facebook Messenger.
Nope.
How do you sell the crap out of your house
That's
right.
without Facebook Marketplace?
I have what's called a realtor.
No, not your house. Like
the crap
VCR that doesn't
out
work
of your
anymore.
house. I thought you were using a euphemism.
You sell the crap out of that
I'm
house.
going to sell the crap out of this house. Oh, man, we are from Florida.
This is, Florida realtor signs would say that, man.
I'll sell the crap out of your house. That's their tagline.
Okay,
By
but
work. That's the weird thing.
that's the old Facebook.
Okay.
Regardless,
It's the
we're
old-
moving to this metaverse.
Metaverse.
And do you? I mean, you guys never had a Second Life avatar.
No.
That's a negative.
Do you
on
remember
that.
that even?
I do remember it. I remember I was at a
People talking about that.
I was working for an insurance company. I was like out installing some network equipment and doing some troubleshooting in the satellite office. And one of the agents that worked in that office was like, he was sold out. He was marked out hard for some Second Life. He loved it. He was like, "Oh yeah, it's so awesome!" And he was telling me about it. I was like, "Oh, that sounds dumb.
Yeah.
I'm gonna not do that."
Yeah, I'm like, I used to have SimCity when I was a kid, too. I remember from a marketing side, people were talking about, they're going to start to do trade shows and virtual meetups where you can go and your avatar talks to this avatar. And I mean, there were the kids ones, Club Penguin and things like that. But I mean, I just don't see. This is short-sighted. This is the guy, that made fun of the iPad when it first came out, over
still
here.
does.
So, and I still do, but
He's over there yelling at that thing daily.
and in 10 years, we'll be doing this podcast from the metaverse.
Yeah.
Apparently. But, I mean, do you guys buy into this?
I don't think so. The weird thing is, like probably a decade ago now, remember when Google tried to do their Google Plus, and it was everybody's going to abandon Facebook and go over to Google Plus. I think this is their their attempt to say, let's change this and make it the way that we want to, and nobody's going to go to it.
Well, how much of this do you think, though, is Facebook has had a really bad year? Yeah. I mean, even especially like Crescendo recently.
Pay
with
no
whistleblowers
attention
and
to
things,
the
like,
horrible things we're doing behind the curtain.
They're like, oh yeah, I heard. Yeah, Facebook has all those problems, but we're Meta.
Yeah,
we're
We're Meta. That's
But
Facebook.
Didn't what was the paramilitary company that did that?
Blackwater.
Blackwater.
Yeah, they're something.
Like,
now,
we'll just change our name to something.
Roses and daisies.
Don't look over this way.
Roses and daisies.
It's not us. I mean, it's marketing, it's positioning. I wonder how much, though, this was like, hey, we got to rush this out because we're getting beat up right now in the stock market. And
what's interesting, just it seems like they're trying to take all these different aspects of things that they own and do and kind of push them under one umbrella and just basically like centralize everything under one thing. And they're calling it the metaverse. And then there's also something called the Fediverse, which is decentralizing everything, where all your stuff is no longer under one centralized conglomeration.
Boba Fett?
No, it has nothing to do with Boba
I know
Fett.
there's the new...
That way you can't be like, all your stuff is kind of...
managed and controlled.
Right. Well, it's
one.
not controlled with the Fediverse, where it is controlled with
so
the
if you're
metaverse.
if you're hacked, you're siloed,
Right.
essentially.
Exactly.
But if they get me in the metaverse, you die in real life.
But even
you die in
even
real
their
life.
ticker symbol is going to MVRS, which I thought was like some type of virus. At the beginning
metavirus.
there. Yeah, but I mean that's MV. Isn't
Yeah,
that,
MVRS.
isn't
Yeah,
there
it
a
does seem. Yeah.
There is a virus that's fairly similar to that, right?
MRS. MERS.
Yeah,
MERS.
MRSA, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So I was
MERS,
like,
I think
man.
it's
Oh, you mean like a physical
Like a
virus?
physical
Okay, I was
human
trying to think of
virus.
like,
I haven't heard of that one. My laptop has never got the MERS.
So I don't know if this name change is really going to help them. So
Probably
yeah, it just seems kind of
I'm sure they'll continue
like
to
a
make money.
Band-Aid over the gigantic gaping wound.
Well, and isn't this
happening.
always the case? They say, oh, nothing's really changing. We're just kind of rebranding, but you still have Facebook. You'll go to that, and then eventually there will be less and less use of the terms like Facebook and Instagram and so on and so forth, and just Meta will be used. Metaverse.
Yeah, as they continue to
will
push it
be,
out.
right?
Yeah.
They'll you lower the heat on the old stuff and ramp the heat on the new stuff until people are used to it.
We shall see. I
we
mean,
will.
they've got the money. They've got the consumer information. We're talking about the PII. They know our browsing history. They know what we like. So if anyone can monetize it, it is them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but this is essentially Second Life. I mean, that's what there seems like they're going to.
Yeah.
But I guess it's third by that.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Second
in their defense,
Life.
Second Life didn't have the virtual reality aspect. I mean,
Right.
this makes me think of the book and movie Ready Player One.
Yeah.
That we're creating this
Nothing
alternate
bad
place
happened
where-
in that.
No, everything went great there. I mean, it seemed fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, until you took the goggles off.
Well, the
and
good news is
looked
that
around
if
you.
I know anything about humans, is they never get like extreme about things. So I'm sure that they will use it as a
in moderation.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Poor Daniel.
Yeah.
Tell me about the bunnies, Daniel.
Tell me about the rabbits, George.
There you go. That's it. I misquoted. I'm sorry. All right. Our next article comes to us from tomshardware.com. Don't like the MacBook Pro notch? Try virtual bezels. And we're talking about the notch, which was first became a problem with the phones. Was it? I'm not sure if it's the iPhone 10, I think, is when that came out. But basically, the little notch where the camera sits on the top.
Right.
And they said, well, we want to have the screen as big as we can, but we also want to have a camera. Well, why don't we just go around the camera as opposed to go just under the camera? And now I didn't even realize that was something that was in the new MacBooks. Have you guys
I have
touched
not
or seen
seen
one of
the
those
new
in
one.
person?
I have not laid a hand on one yet.
Yeah.
But now what they're saying is you can basically do a little trick, or when you go to get info, it looks like there's a checkbox to say, put this under the
Yeah,
bezel.
it's how to deal with the very fact that you don't want that notch there.
Well, Ronnie and I were talking about this earlier. It seems like it was a misstep on Apple's part, and now they're kind of going, "Oh, well, it's not really our fault." Yeah. It kind of comes off that way. Might not be.
Yeah, it's a feature.
So they added this notch. They want to give you bezel to bezel screen coverage, right? Just like no bezel, if at all possible. The problem is you got a camera there on your screen that it hides behind that.
Mm-hmm.
So they did this with phones. They notched it out. They just kind of put a little notch. By the way, I've seen pictures of it. It is a huge notch.
Yeah, it's not, because I was like, oh, that probably just takes that little gray bar at the top.
No,
it has like five. It's
like
down into the application.
2 inches wide. It's big. So the problem is now the software that runs on your MacBook, if it has a menu bar where you click
Something
on
is
things
behind
and
it.
there's options, your camera is covering that and you can't click on them.
It's like in Zoom meetings when the Zoom controls are covering the buttons you want to
You're
do,
like,
and
son
people
of
are
a-
like, just hit that. You're like, it's
I
behind
can't.
something.
Right.
Yeah.
So you do the trick.
I think this would be an issue if it wasn't so tall. I mean, the width I'm less concerned about, I feel like, but the height, because unless you run your apps in full screen, which I don't feel like a lot of people do, you've got the toolbar across the top that's got your clock and all that stuff, where there's some space in the middle there, but...
So it's strange that, like with this thing, with the notch thing, there's got to be some programmatic way that they could allow like that thing in Windows, that little pin thing that allows the thing to just float away. And then come back when you need it, but I guess not.
Well, I mean, so they're saying that ultimately software developers will say, well, this is the hardware platform we're going to run on. Therefore, we need to code into the fact that there will be a notch there and that things will not go under it.
Yeah.
So they're saying at least that's
the
what
hardware
I'm
is
getting.
perfect.
Right. And that the software devs for third-party
They'll
apps
figure it out,
should just follow the times and make appropriate changes, which does happen from time to time, right? You just have to work with this. This is how it works now. And now I've got so M1 chip, right?
Yep, M1 chip.
We want one M1 chip Mac, but we can't have one because virtualization isn't ready for prime time.
Yeah.
And that's not a Mac problem. That's a VMware, VirtualBox, whatever problem.
Well, I'm surprised that the technology isn't there yet to have the camera behind the screen somehow, two-way mirror kind of thing. You would think that and maybe maybe that exists, but just not with the type of screens that are commonly used and draw enough power and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, Apple's running the same thing with not being able to put the fingerprint scanner behind the screen, and that's why they moved to the Face ID and all that. But Yeah, it seems like whoever comes up with the way to stick the camera behind the screen is going to be the next billionaire.
I would just think that there's a better way. I mean, I get the idea of putting it behind the glass, but maybe, I don't know, something to where it's not integrated to the screen.
Well, Apple's never going to do one that like pops up or something.
No, no, hell no.
I mean, Microsoft would like, oh, you Velcro this to the lid.
Then you pour some gas right here and you start the little engine.
Yeah, that's on its own engine. That's diesel. The computer itself is regular on lead.
Yeah, that's just regular petrol.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you are a user of the Notch, or a hater of the Notch, I would say, I guess let us know. Go to technado.com. Give us some feedback. Do you hate it? Do you think that this is their fault or the software developers who didn't even know it was coming's fault?
Yeah.
Obviously,
someone said, "Oh no."
Yeah, that's where we put all of our.
That's where all the best stuff is. That stupid Notch.
All right. Our next article comes to us from Engadget.com. Roblox comes back online after a 3-day outage. The company didn't pinpoint the cause until just hours earlier. So they were gone. They were down
3 days.
like 72 hours or so, or 60 hours, 72 hours, and didn't figure out the problem
that was
until
just,
hour 69.
Yeah.
68.
I haven't seen what they haven't said exactly what the issue was, other than there was some issue with scaling the servers.
Yeah, and
for
that was
the
a
increased
weird
traffic, and it was due to some very esoteric, hidden, complex
Don had
bug.
said it was the central password store that was overloaded, taking everything down. But it sounds like a just kind of a comedy of different errors adding on top of each other that led to this. But Roblox, for those that don't know, is kind of a gaming platform. I know it's big amongst kind of the preteen age and stuff. It's kind of the next Minecraft, but
it's the pre-type 2 diabetes generation. That's how you get them there.
Yeah, it's
get them staying in their house, never going outside. And
the funny thing is, people were like hours and hours into it, were blaming Chipotle.
Yeah,
not because of their delicious new smoked brisket available now at your local Chipotle.
Yeah, it does look good.
There was a collaboration or partnership that they had done with Chipotle that was like 30 minutes before this happened, where all the 10-year-olds on this are going, well, it's Chipotle's fault. Clearly.
Yeah, that Chipotle ad got them.
Yeah, I love that. There's probably people boycotting Chipotle because they couldn't get to their game. Meanwhile, it's the password manager server in the back end. But
now what do? They got to actually go to Chipotle.
Oh yeah, and
to get their burrito. I know
they got to go and apologize.
Yeah.
That's what they got to do. Yeah, that's a sad thing. Chipotle paid for that partnership, and now people are just mad at them.
Well, I meant the players, the
Sure.
the gamers have to get out of their room and go and do something because they can't get on Roblox. Is it called
Roblox?
Roadblocks?
Roblox.
You are not in the
Roblox?
in the target audience.
No, I'm not.
But you soon will be, as your kids will become that age.
No, probably not.
Well, you won't allow them on there.
Their dad is a security guy. All right, what's gonna? I'm malwaring all their stuff.
Well, are there any lessons that other companies that are they're watching can take away that even the biggest companies out there?
Yeah, don't do deals
3
with
days.
Chipotle.
Yeah.
Yeah, go with Moe's. Always Moe's or Taco Bell.
It could have been easily avoided.
How about the rollback of the previous?
Yeah, because I know nothing the Taco Bell does will last in you for more than 2 hours.
Yeah, but this is Chipotle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if they'd
some
gone with
high
Taco
quality.
Bell, this would have been done in an hour and a half.
Done in an hour and a half.
So I'm sorry about that.
Man.
Oh man, this is a good show.
When Don goes away,
Yeah, we really got to ditch the dead weight, right?
if Don watched these episodes where he's not on, he would know not to leave anymore.
Yeah, Don coming in here with his facts and logic and stuff, and we're over here trying to have a good time.
So not a good time for Roblox, and just goes to show that it can happen to anybody basically, and it take a while. But you're right, Ronnie. Why don't you just roll back? But if you don't know what triggered it, what do you roll back to?
Before the
Chipotle?
Chipotle ad, at least.
Well,
Right?
but once that Pandora's box is open, everybody's like, "I want my Chipotle."
That's right. I want the free burrito.
Yeah. What you do is you say, "No, we are not giving out burritos."
Yeah.
Actually, you got to pay double for that burrito. People will stop doing it.
So there you go. 3 guys that don't know what a Roblox is, telling you about what happened to the Robloxes. Glad that could help. Hopefully, this next article we are better experts at. So this one is from bleepingcomputer.com. Microsoft Defender for Windows is getting a massive overhaul. And so is this something that, I know Ignite's going on, right? Or not Ignite. Is it Ignite?
Maybe.
The Microsoft
Linux guy. Hello.
Yeah, that's right. But this actually came out on November 1st. So I think this is just right before that. But what is the overall? What is coming to Windows or to Microsoft Defender that we should get excited about?
So they're talking about centralized management of Windows Defender now. So where before it's on individual computers, and then even if you have two computers in the same house, right, you still have to manage the antivirus and stuff by itself. Well, they're putting away a portal that allows you to actually say, hey, I can get into this and be able to actually manage them all. So a little bit of a centralized type of antivirus server that allows
solution.
Solution that allows you to manage Defender centrally here.
What else you got?
Yeah,
That summed it up right there.
Is that good?
Is that good, Ronnie?
Do we want that?
Well, if you have multiple computers, probably. And
Is it just computers or I mean multiple
Anything that
devices
runs-
or anything multiple
Defender.
devices that
Actually,
run?
so they're
Windows?
saying that it's going to be ported over to Mac OS and Android devices.
Really?
And, yeah. So this is going to allow you to basically have an enterprise level solution and a home environments, because we're no longer just like, oh, we've got like one or two machines in my network. Most families probably have 10, 15, 20 devices on their network now.
When I got like kind of the mesh, the nicer home hub and stuff, and have the app now, and I look at all the devices, you go, holy cow! I didn't even think about
surprised
that.
you.
But you're
Oh
right,
yeah, you see what's connected to your Wi-Fi, and you're like, whoa, that's a lot of
What's
stuff.
this one called? Daniel's Raspberry Pi.
Ha ha ha, Peter, you suck.
Why do you name it in the thermostat? That's weird.
Yeah, kind of scared. Like the first time I had one of those old ASAs, right? That would only allow 10 connections. And then one day it's like my daughter said, hey, I can't connect to the internet. I was like, what in the world's going on? So I finally actually had to physically count how many devices. Like, yeah, you're number 11. This is not going to work.
You need to take the doorbell. You need to take the doorbell offline if you want to get on the computer.
Yeah.
No one can come to the house while
That's
you're
right.
using your phone.
That's right. You might want to put that on sell.
So what do you think will have less people? There will be less Mac users eventually running Microsoft Defender, or less Mac users eventually running Microsoft Edge?
Ooh, no, I think Edge is probably here to stay. They've made a pretty good
But
case. for them.
on a Mac though, that's what I'm saying. Because you're saying this will eventually get ported over to other things.
Chrome will always be king on other platforms, I would think.
Yeah.
But the idea is that the problem is that home networks, it's so disparate that if Ronnie and I are in the same home network, we're like roommates or whatever, and all his devices, we're all sharing an internet connection. Ronnie's device gets infected. I know nothing about it.
Right.
Right. And now he's like, hey, let me share a file with you. And now I'm infected. Right. And
But if you're running something like this,
right, because you have so many devices, it would be hard to have some real overwatch. But if you have centralized device management, where no matter what device I'm on, if I'm running the right software, it will alert me when Ronnie gets popped, and Ronnie will get alerted when I get popped, and we can kind of like, oh no, there's an infection in our network, and start to work on it and start to unplug things. Okay, that doesn't need to be plugged in right now.
Right.
We need to triage this malware infection and then sanitize it and then allow it back on the network.
Yeah. So I guess it would make sense for people with other operating systems and things to use this. If three members of the household all have Windows machines and you're the one that has a Mac for whatever reason, it makes sense if you're on the network with them to share this.
I think that this could be really good if they make it stupid simple to use, right? Make this so easy to install and configure. I mean, if you're running Windows operating systems, it's already coming with Windows Defender, and Defender does a pretty good job of antivirus and malware detection. So you've got a decent solution if you're now able to easily see when your other devices are having issues and you don't have to actually be on that device. That will help the end user who is not tech savvy go, well, at least I know something's wrong. I can go start to look and see, or maybe take this to a qualified professional and say, hey, I got an alert on my Windows Defender that said this device had a virus or whatever. Can you help me? And then they can. Or they can call, Microsoft for if they have support with them and get support there. That's what it's all about. The problem is that you get infected with something and you never know about it, and it lingers, and that's the issue. So if you have the centralized management and it's alerting you and it's stupid easy to use, it's going to increase the overall security of everybody.
Yeah, and they're kind of showing that, you can actually end up getting somebody in by sending them an email or even a QR code
Right.
of your phone.
That's cool.
And, it just makes it that easy for them. Installs across iOS, Android, Windows, or even Mac OS agent. And then they'll get automatically enrolled into that dashboard.
Perfect. Well, it says that it's unclear when the preview of this will be available to test, but if you're in that insider program, which I know a lot of people are, with Windows 11 out recently, that you will probably see it first in the next coming months. So
This got
keep an eye out
techie
for that.
real quick, man. I'm more fun.
Yeah.
Done with this. Move on.
Yeah, no, we're done. Well, this one's fun because this one comes to us from the Sun.
The Sun.
Or the
U.S. This is the U.S. Sun.
The U.S. Sun.
the US Sun.
the-sun.com. Don't spell out dash because that would be a whole
Is that a
different thing.
Beatles tune?
Here comes the sun.
Yeah.
All right. The headline, I'm just going to read it as it says.
All right.
Panic stations.
Yes.
Microsoft warns billions, all caps, billions of passwords have been hacked. Check yours now. And Daniel, you were saying before we started here today that this is clickbait.
This is absolutely clickbait.
Why is that?
Because the
Billions of
title,
passwords.
So the title of the article does not reflect the content of the article. It is meant to panic you into clicking on the link so that you read about this. This is not any kind of really new information, honestly. It's just hey, I can word this in a way to make people go. What it seems like it's saying is that Microsoft has had billions of passwords leaked.
That's what I read. Yeah, it said
That is
billions.
not
All
the
caps.
case.
So it's not passwords that were hacked from Microsoft.
No.
Correct.
It's not even close.
So my Xbox Live account, fine.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You're like, probably not still, but that's unrelated to this.
Right. It's unrelated to this article. This article is all about the proliferation of password spraying.
All right, what is password spraying?
Password spraying is where I take, let's say that I know some really common passwords.
Okay.
Unfortunately, those are like password and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are some of the most common passwords that are used anywhere. Doesn't matter the platform. Doesn't matter the login. Somebody somewhere is using that. So they take those passwords and then they get a list of known or probable users and they try those passwords to see if they can gain access to it. That's one form of password spraying. The other form is I have a list of people and passwords that are known to be associated with those user accounts, and I try those on multiple different platforms. So it's just a fancy way of saying password reuse and see if that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because if Peter, you have a password of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
How'd you know?
On IT Pro TV, and I know your username is your email address. Well, where else are you using that as your login?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Exactly. I
Right. So
remember it.
now I don't have to try to hit lockouts on like a standard brute force where maybe I've got Peter at itpro.tv and I'm going to go through 10,000 different password possibilities and probably hit a lockout threshold. And it's going to slow me down. I'm going to get busted. People are going to realize, there's some password brute forcing that's occurring.
Yeah.
I now know, well, Peter uses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at IT Pro TV. Maybe he uses that for Netflix.
Yeah.
Maybe he uses that for his Facebook account. Maybe he uses that for his Second Life account because he loves that so much.
I mean, it's funny. I was talking with somebody on the marketing team the other day here. So we're not the IT guys, and it seems like second nature, to you as IT guys. Well, here's why you don't use your same password. But I mentioned that to someone of no, this is the problem because that breach happened here. That means anything you're using that same password for, you are now even more susceptible. And it was like a light bulb moment.
Yeah,
absolutely.
To them. And I realized oh yeah, I know that because I do this show with you guys,
right.
and because I've learned that from being here. But would have never thought of that otherwise. I mean, if I look back to the accounts that I have that are the oldest,
right.
I'm sure that I'm reusing passwords and I need to go.
So
through.
that takes us back to our article title, which is basically saying because of password reuse, there are billions of accounts that have been breached because of the use of that.
Right.
That's what it means, even though it doesn't actually say that.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's the subtitle, which probably was the original title.
Yeah, and the editor was like, nope, gotta say billions all caps.
And panic stations.
Don't forget panic stations.
Yeah,
in different colors and large letters, all caps.
And so that is not news in the sense that this just happened, but
Right.
it's news in the sense that we put out this report saying, hey, this is how big this problem is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the funny thing is down in the article as you read it, it's like, hey, you can download this password checkup thing.
Yeah,
Can you read it?
in your Google Chrome.
Yeah, and then guess what? it's a broken link.
Well, and what's interesting about that is it's a
everyone's
plugin
downloading.
for Chrome,
Yeah.
right? And Chrome basically it says that it takes any details that you've inserted into a login
Yeah.
and checks them against known leaked databases.
Yeah.
But so you're telling me I'm giving my username and password to Google?
Yeah.
So it's like download this keylogger.
Yeah. I like have I
No,
been
not
pwned?
Google. This is from Alphabet.
Yeah. I like have I been pwned better because I can just go to their site and type in a password and see if that's a part of any leaked
And you're not
database.
associating it with your
Nope.
account in any way.
It's just a password.
Now, the
So-
cookies on that site are probably able to
That's
quickly
why you
identify.
turn
you.
cookies off.
You could do that.
You can do that. Or log in using Tails or something.
They sound so delicious.
Yeah. Or not log in, but visit the site using Tails.
I
Or
think-
Brave.
I think people are so second nature just hitting that. Okay, accept cookies.
Yeah,
fine.
accept.
Okay,
Yeah.
get out of my way. I'm trying to go to the site.
That's how all my best malware works. It's like, just click next.
Yes,
Just click
That's
yes.
the name of your software.
just click next.
Brought to you by Daniel.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of next, our next webinar is coming up very soon. Actually, today. The day that this webinar is coming out, Thursday, November 4th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a deep dive into Windows 365, understanding Microsoft's cloud PC with the good folks over at Nerdio who are helping us out with this. And they're going to actually show us kind of their back end that lets you access and do all the administration for your Windows 365 setup. So very cool stuff. But don't worry if you are watching this after that time has passed, 2 p.m. Eastern on November 4th. You can still head over to itpro.tv/webinars, same place you go to register ahead of time, and you can register to see the archive of that, which will be up probably the next day, late in the afternoon. So definitely check that one out, deep dive into Windows 365. You should go also, if you didn't watch our cybersecurity incident response for small to medium-sized business that we did last week. We had a lot of fun with that, Daniel. We had some, Freddy Krueger was there.
He was.
Or Peter.
Very
Peter
entertaining.
Krueger, Freddy's brother-in-law. I don't
Yeah. It's his half brother.
know. Related.
His father started a new family in Ohio.
Yeah, they didn't even know about each other.
Yeah.
But both burned horribly. in the
Yeah,
fire.
weird.
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
All right, and same glove. Also want to let you know there is a free AWS weekend coming up very shortly. It's November 13th and 14th over at IT Pro TV. You can sign up for a free account, get access to courses like Certified Cloud Practitioner, Certified Solutions Architect Associate, Certified Big Data, and more. So check all that out over at itpro.tv. Also check out technado.com, and you can submit listener mail. You can let us know your feedback. Do you hate the bezel? The notch, the big notch. And you can also hit the big orange button in the corner that says sponsored by IT Pro TV. You can get 30% off the lifetime. So here's what you do. You get the free weekend, you get some free AWS content, and you say, that's good. I like that. I'm smarter now, and I'd like to be more smart. So then you use 30% off coupon code, and you start the subscription there, and you're set.
Set to jet.
All right.
That's how it works.
Killbots.
Was that the name of the movie again?
The original.
That's the original
Killbots,
name.
Yeah.
And now it's called
Chopping
Mall.
Shopping mall.
Shopping Mall. Fantastic film, and I cannot wait to get home
Yeah,
and
he's
see
like,
that it is not on
"Where
any
is
platforms
The Pirates Bay.
anymore. Only available at Blockbuster.
Yeah, you might want to. Maybe Daily Motion will have it.
That's true. Yeah. All right, bootleg. All right, well, thank you, Ronnie, so much for joining us and filling in today, and we always love to have you. Appreciate it. Any final thoughts?
Well, yes, that was.
There was a thought.
sorry. Yeah. That does happen.
You had that free Chipotle burrito.
Two of them. Two.
All right, well,
Used his Second Life account for that.
second one.
Get the second one.
I love that we have this expensive thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's an iPad. We hooked up
that's
all
what
these
you
wires,
used it for.
And I've used two sound effects today. Fart 1 and Fart 2.
Wow.
As they're called. Because
It kills me that you actually distinguished them.
I am a child.
There's more than one type of fart, right?
All right. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully Don will come back at some point. And we'll see you next time on Technado with Don Pizzette.